Hi guys, we got ourselves a little motorhome. No, it's not new. Yes, there's a lot to do with it, but I thought I'd introduce you to it. Let's see here. That's where we'll sleep when Paul's not doing that. Front door. The bright, bright, bright light. Okay, dining table. And look what we're doing to the ceiling. I hope you're seeing this all okay, because I don't see what you're seeing. And we're busily putting wood panels on the ceiling. And there's our dinette. Yeah, okay, our work table. Fridge. Stove. Sink. Ah, yes, the heater. And the bathroom. And it came complete with all kinds of stuff from the people who had it before. See? Yeah. I still have to go through all of that and figure out what we keep and what we don't keep and move the rest of our stuff in. We're going to rebuild this, and the bed's going to have a piece that comes out so we can sleep that way and not have to climb over each other all the time when we want to get in and out. So, if you're interested, I'll give you regular updates or irregular updates. So, here we go into the handy dandy. Aha, there we go. Into the handy dandy reader thing. So, for today's story, I have Jane and the Dragon. I figured you needed to know a little bit about girls, seeing as how you're going to have one in the family. Okay, Jane hated sewing. Every morning she sat with her mother practicing her stitches, and every morning she gazed down at the knights practicing their sword play in the courtyard below. Jane longed to be a knight. Nothing else would do. And she told her mother so. Her mother laughed. "Such foolishness," she said. "You'll be a lady in waiting. Perhaps, like me, you will become lady in waiting to the queen herself." Jane was very upset, but she was determined to be a knight, and she went to tell her father. Her father laughed. "Ha ha 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 ha! What nonsense," he said. "Only boys can become knights." Jane told the king. The king laughed. Of course, he said. But he hadn't really heard her, so the king listened to no one but himself. There she is with her mom and her dad and the king. Jane told the prince, the king's only son. The prince said nothing. He just laughed and pushed her over in the royal sand pit. Not very nice. Jane told the knights themselves. They laughed and dressed her in fine armor that was way too big for her and set her on a straw horse. They thought it was great fun until they saw tears trickle down from under the helmet. The knights were sorry. They had not meant to be unkind. There she is. And there they are. I have no idea how this is working. We have some really weird glary lights in here. But we'll find out. I wanted you to be able to see the motorhome before or in the middle picture. Finally, Jane told the court jester. The jester didn't laugh. Of all the people Jane had spoken to, he alone listened and understood. He took Jane to his room and opened a wooden chest. Inside was a small set of armor. There's the jester and the chest. I wanted to be a knight as well, said the jester, but I was too small. This armor is my secret. I put it on sometimes and dream a little. I want you to have it. Jane was overjoyed. But what about your dream? She asked. I was never really brave enough, he said. You dream it for me. From that day on, Jane's sewing got worse. She was too busy watching the knights, watching and learning. And whenever the knights were out chasing the king's enemies, Jane would go to their quarters, put on her armor, and practice. She practiced her sword play. Oh, that's not showing up real well. There we go. She practiced her horse play. She even practiced her victory speeches. See, I'm going to try turning this, see if I can get less shadow. There's her victory speeches. I think that works better. Then one terrible day, an enormous green dragon came and stole the prince. The king and queen were horrified. They called for the knights, but the knights were away at a jousting carnival. There's no one left who can save our son, cried the king. They were very surprised when a small knight ran into the courtyard, saddled up the prince's pony, and galloped away after the dragon. Yeah, I know you know who that is. What you doing, Paul?
Moving this thing down.
Oh. Let's see here. Jane followed the dragon to his mountain lair. Release the boy, she demanded in her sternest voice. The dragon laughed. Make me, he roared, and his hot breath singed the plume on Jane's helmet. Whoa. Yeah, she's pretty brave. Ooh, yeah, and there's the prince. Wonder what the plan is there. Jane drew her sword and advanced. A long and dreadful battle followed. Twice Jane could have stabbed the dragon, but she did not. Twice the dragon could have toasted her with his hot breath, but he did not. At last they were too exhausted to fight on, and they sat down together on the floor of the cave. You could have killed me, said the dragon. You could have killed me, said Jane. Why didn't you? I don't like hurting people, sighed the dragon. Then why did you steal the prince? Because it's expected of me. Then do the unexpected, said Jane. No, I couldn't. I'm not brave enough. Of course you are. It's easy. Easy for you, said the dragon. You're a knight and people expect you to be brave. Jane laughed and took off her helmet. The dragon was amazed. You're just a girl. I could fry you for breakfast. Yes, that would be easy for you. Oh, one light down. It would be easy for me to be a lady in waiting. People expect it, but I want to be a knight. What do you want? I want to be loved, sobbed the dragon. And he covered his face with a spiky brown wing. Jane put down her sword and kissed him. I love you, she said. Oh, thank you, said the dragon, and he sobbed all the harder. I bet those are big tears. Now I have to take the prince home, said Jane. The king and queen will be dreadfully worried. Will you visit me sometimes? Asked the dragon. Every Saturday, Jane promised, but now we really must go. And she gave the dragon a hug and another kiss. It was late in the day when they arrived back at the castle. The entire court rushed out to greet them. The king and queen were overjoyed to see their son. But who was the mysterious knight? There they are on their way back. And when they get back to the castle, Jane took off her helmet, and the crowd gasped. Her father just stood proudly there with his mouth wide open. Her mother fainted gracefully. Dear Jane, said the king, how can we ever thank you? Your Majesty, I would like to become a proper knight, please, with every Saturday off to visit a friend. Certainly, certainly, said the king. And he called for the royal scribe, who wrote a contract out there and then. Good for her, speaking up for what she wanted. That evening, the king gave a royal ball, a dance. Everyone was there, including Jane's mother and father, who had recovered from their shock and were now very proud of their fearless daughter. Jane was the guest of honor. You must choose a partner, Jane, said the king, and lead the dancing. All the handsome young men waited, each one hoping to be chosen. But Jane took the jester's hand and led him onto the floor. Nice. Thank you for the armor, said Jane. Thank you for the dream, said the jester. And together they danced and danced and danced. The dragon's checking things out. And the end. So I guess it really doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl. There'll be something that you really like to do. I know that often people think that girls should be cooking and boys should be building things, but I'll have you know that your Aunt Abby took wood shop and your dad took cooking. Yep, he can make a mean flan. He's good at it. Yummy. So I love you guys. And talk to you later. Yeah, I won't be so shaggy next time. It's been 3 months since my last haircut. But Monday I get it trimmed. So, mwah, love you. Oh, how do I shut this off? Okay.